Good morning, everybody. I am going to do a tutorial today. It's a quick and easy one. Should be. If you want to see the rest of my tutorials that I have, you can head on over to my YouTube channel, NiftyKnotz, the playlist / podcast, NiftyKnotz Talk, and all of these lives that I do as tutorials in the mornings here on YouTube or here on TikTok. I then go and upload to YouTube so you guys can go back and rewatch them if you'd like. Today I'm going to do spiral, dishcloth, washcloth, scrubby type things. You watched the cat shrug one on YouTube. Oh cool, did you like it? Was it helpful? Good morning, Cindy, Wendy, Sherry. Everybody that's joining. Gonna try it soon. Oh, cool. I actually got all my glue in because I decided that I was going to, good morning, Ruba. I was going to glue rhinestones to all my cats. So this is the swatch that I did at one point with the cats. And it's out of the same material, same type of yarn that I did the cat shrug in. And I decided that I wanted to put little rhinestones on for eyes. So I have all my rhinestones. Well, I have all my rhinestones, and they're just flat back. They're not hot fix. And I have my swatch with my same type of yarn. And I bought myself a bottle of this, which is, find my scissors. I'm sure I'm sitting on them. I bought myself a bottle of this. Oh my God, if I can get the plastic off. Gem tack. I bought myself a tube of this. And then I have, it's called Jewel It. And let me go grab that bottle. And I'll show you what that bottle looks like. So the Jewel It is Aileen's version of Jewel It. Aileen's version of embellishing glue. So I have 3 different types of glue that are meant to glue rhinestones onto fabric. And I'm going to take my swatch and I'm going to actually, I will take another piece of paper so that I can label, like make a graph. And on each different cat, I'm going to try a different glue to glue my rhinestones on. And then I'm going to let it sit and cure. I think the gem tack has to cure for 72 hours. This one has to dry for 24 hours. This one has to dry for 24 hours, 7 to 10 days before washing. This one doesn't say how long before you have to wash it. I can't imagine this one would be any longer than 7 to 10 days. This is 72 hours. Okay, so 7 to 10 days. So I'm going to take all 3 of these and I'm going to glue my rhinestones on this swatch with each one of these different ones on each cat. And then I will mark them. And then I will take this after, I guess, 7 to 10 days, and I will throw it in the washer with a load of towels and into the dryer with that same load of towels, and then do that like at least twice to see which glue holds up the best. So if they all hold up the same, then I guess it's just my preference which one I like to work with. If not, I will know which glue is going to come loose and which glue is going to stick. So that's going to be my experiment for this week. And I will eventually put a video together so that it's one whole video and not, a week long. I have a tutorial for the cat crochet. I do. If you go to my YouTube channel under the playlist / podcast NiftyKnotz Talk, I have 2 different, good morning Samantha, I have 2 different tutorials for the cat stitch. One is the miscellaneous stitch a day, where we did just the cat stitch, and then the other tutorial I did with the cat stitch was the shrug, which I think I have hanging up behind me somewhere, which is the shrug where we worked the cat stitch in the round and worked it to make like the sleeves that come across and just the back, just like a shrug. So yeah, I do have those tutorials, and it's at NiftyKnotz on YouTube. I tell everybody it might cost you to subscribe here, but it doesn't cost you to subscribe there. So, oh, you're very welcome. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is a spiral scrubby, because I'm trying to do easy today, because had a busy weekend. My husband's laughing. It was a busy weekend. So the spiral scrubby, I wanted to make mine a little bit different, but I wanted to look at the pattern that I found for it. So it's pretty much just what it says. It's just a scrubby that ends up looking spiral. Okay. La 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 la. I'm getting there. I'm sorry. Okay, so for the spiral scrubby, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever made it, I'm going to make a spiral scrubby today. You can do it with a textured stitch, but it gets a little bit tricky because of the increases and decreases that you're working at the beginning and the end. But basically what it looks like is, let me see if I can find a picture. This is what it looks like. So it looks like that. And it's really super simple. So I'm going to start out by chaining. Now the pattern that I see here uses 20 stitches by 22 rows. I think I'm going to do 25 stitches just to make it a little bit bigger. do 20 because that way it'll make it quicker. Hey there, Cindy. Thank you for all the likes. So I have cotton yarn and I just simply chained 20. And it's pretty much just going to be all, you can use either single crochet or half double crochet. I'm going to use single crochet. So for my first row in my chain 20, I'm just going to chain, or I'm going to single crochet 20. And your single crochet again is just insert your hook into your stitch, yarn over and pull through your stitch, yarn over and pull through your 2 loops on your hook. I like these. I use them. There are people at vendor events that have tremendous success selling dishcloths and scrubbies and things like that. I do not. They look at my other stuff and for some reason they just can't be bothered buying dishcloths or scrubbies. So, I don't know. I guess every booth is different. Everybody's different. My bigger stuff sells better. I mean, I certainly don't sell a ton of it, but I sell enough of it to make money because it's bigger and costs a little bit more. But, you know, that is what it is. Okay, so I have my 20 single crochets. I'm going to chain 1 to turn my work. And now I'm going to work in the back loop only. So when you're looking at it from this side to start working. And this bottom loop here, so this is the side you're looking at, the wrong side. And this bottom loop here would be the back side. So in the first stitch, I'm actually going to single crochet 2. So I'm going to make an increase in that first stitch. And again, I'm just working the back loops only, so you can see that the front loops are still free. And then I'm going to single crochet all the way across to the last 2 stitches. And I'm just using worsted weight. I am using cotton, but you can use whatever you want. You could use scrubby yarn, you could use acrylic yarn, whatever you wanted to make it out of. You could make it bigger, and I'll show you how to adjust your size according to how long you make it. I kind of like mine this size because I'll use them, if I don't use them for dishes, I will use them for my face. But they do make nice dishcloths. It's not actually a cloth, but okay, so I'm down to my last 2 stitches, and you can see those are my back loops. So I'm crocheting this way. These are my back 2 loops, and I am just simply going to decrease on this side. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up 1 loop, and I'm going to insert into my next stitch and yarn over and pull up the 2nd loop, and I'm going to pull through and decrease. I'm going to chain 1. And now the trick to getting this consistent is actually pretty easy. You're always going to decrease on the decrease side, and you're always going to increase on the increase side. So now that we know the decrease side, and we are always going to work in the back loops. So I'm going to turn my work, and once again I want to decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up my loop, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up my loop, and pull through all 3 loops on the stitch. And then I'm going to work across. And you'll see your count will always be the same because you're always decreasing on one side, you're always increasing on the other side. So that gives me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I get down to the last stitch. So right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I get down to the very last stitch, and I'm going to put 2 stitches to make an increase in that last stitch. So that's going to give me 20. And you can see how it's starting to go up on this side and go out on this side. You'll see the shape a little bit better here. And again, I'm going to chain 1, and since I'm on the increase side, I'm going to increase. And working again in my back loops only, I'm going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just working across, still in the back loops. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, undo my knot, 18, 19, and I'm down to the last 2. I'm going to decrease them. That gives me my count of 20. So again, my decrease is just pull up my loop, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up my loop, and pull through 3. So that gives me, and you can see how it's slanting in. This is one time we do want it to slant. And I'm going to chain 1, and since this is my decrease side, I'm going to turn. In the first stitch, I'm going to decrease. Continues to slant. So that's 1. I decreased over 2 stitches. 1, counted as 1 stitch. 2, 3, still working in the back loops only the entire time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I'm down to my last stitch, and this is my increase side. I'm going to put 2 stitches in it. That gives me 19 and 20. So you can see how it's starting to, there you go, look like it's coming across this way diagonally, and it's coming across that way diagonally. So it's going to slant this way, the entire piece. So our rows are going to be straight, but our whole piece is going to slant. And you just want to keep with your 20 stitches, or however many stitches you started with. And I'm just going to keep going that way. This is going to be an easy week. I'm going to do something different every day, but I think it's going to be like, I don't know, maybe a different dishcloth. That way I can do like different stitches for dishcloths. Different dishcloth. I don't know. Something easy. It was a busy weekend. How was everybody else's weekend? And I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. I'm just going to increase by 1 on my increase side, working my back loops over, and work all the way to the end. And this is my decrease side. So I'm just going to decrease over the last 2 stitches. I should always have 20 stitches. Arlene, I saw you last night jump on Choopy's live there. But I was so tired by the end of the night. Like, I did not even have the energy to comment or... You know what? I never got a chance to show my sister my shrug. I did show her pictures, which she absolutely loved. And of course I get that. Is this on your site yet? So if she does end up buying it on my site, I will probably just ship it to her and not say anything and just issue her a refund. So she doesn't have to pay for it. But I did finish her bag. And I do have some pictures. I can show you that. Doing this swatch here, I'm working with 22 stitches, and I think it needs to be a little bit longer than 22 stitches, so I'm probably going to do, I think, 22 or 23 rows. Did she like it? She did like it. And she thought that was, actually, everybody thought that was pretty hilarious that I was going to glue rhinestones onto it. I'm like, why not? You buy sparkly things all the time. Or people buy sparkly things all the time, so I'm going to make it sparkly. Good morning, Mary. Let's see if I can find pictures of... So this right here is like basically the same thing. 20 stitches, we're decreasing on one side, increasing on the other side, and it's just going to give us that shape all the way up. 20 stitches, I'm going to do about 23 rows. Oh, I know. Like, I logged on and I saw he was there, and I usually like to say hello or whatever, and I hit the like a couple of times, and I thought, oh my god, I need to fall over. Because not only did my sister come up on Saturday to hang out, but then my cousin was up camping with friends of hers, and she called me and said, "You're not very far from where I am, are you?" And I said, "No, less than a half an hour." And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm going home tonight, and send me your address." So I sent her the address of actually my mom's place, because that's where we were hanging out. And she said, "Oh, it's 25 minutes away." She said, "It's practically on my way home." She says, "I'll be over." So we had even more company yesterday. So I got very little accomplished putting my dad's art on my website. It was just busy. Just very busy. But I did get some of his stuff up today, and I will get the rest of it. Not the rest of it, certainly not the rest of it. It would take me the year to get the rest of it, but I will get a lot of it on there today. I think I got it down pat. So these were the colors that I ultimately ended up using for her bag, which is like brown and yellow and blue, like sunflower colors. And there is some green in there, but it's kind of really hard to tell. It kind of mixes in with the blue. You can see the green at the top. Green at the top. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. And then the pouch at the bottom where you would cinch it up. And I did put a hook there so you could hold that little pouch up. And that was like the inside of it if you wanted the pouch inside with the drawstring. And you can see the hardware that I put on there was just like a hook and a ring. I think that's the last picture. But that was the one I did for her. That was the flea market bag that I did for her. And she was happy. She liked that. Oh, did he finish his Salchi hat? Yeah, I see. I heard him talking about cotton and shrinking and things like that, and I was just kind of like going, "Oh, this is just lulling me to sleep." Of course we do. Absolutely. I didn't even see you pop in there. Of course we do. There's like a little group of us. There's like a little clique, you know. We all get together. We all see each other in certain other people's lives, and we all just kind of hang out. And yep. Oh, I love it too. Absolutely love it too. So this is like my. It was one of those weekends, and I was saying like I popped in and like I saw you for a couple seconds, and my eyes were like this. And I thought, I don't even have the energy to say hello. I just kind of shut off my phone and went to bed. So this week is going to be like stupid simple. And it's pretty much like, I guess, trapezoid you'd call it. And it's just going to be a spiral scrubby. I'm just going to do different stitches for dishcloths this week because, at least this morning anyway, I don't have the energy. That might change tomorrow. Yeah, we definitely need simple sometimes. And this morning I definitely need simple. So this is basically, it's going to end up looking like scrubby, and I like them. I use them for my face or other things. This is, and I've made them before. It's a really old pattern, but this is basically what they look like. So that one has some good detail in it. But when you put it together, it's just a simple, basic cotton scrubby. Maybe later this week I'll just show you how to put together a net bag that you can throw them all in. Because that's what I do. I have like a simple cotton net bag that I just throw them in, and then I throw the whole thing in the washer. So again, I'm decreasing on every decrease side, increasing on every increase side, and oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to do the same later. I'm trying to get some of my dad's art on my website, so it's going to be a busy day. And I appreciate you stopping in. I really do. Don't doubt that. You can ask these girls. I don't say things I don't mean. Uh, trying. It's a tough one this morning, but I'm trying. I'm here, so that's a first step. It's a positive step. We'll see how the rest of it goes. So again, I'm just going to decrease on the decrease side, increase on the increase side, keep my 20 stitches because I'm doing it that way, and I'm going to go up 22 rows. So I'm just going to sit here and just keep doing this while I chatter away. So decrease on my first side, and I'm always working in my back loops. That's kind of what gives you the spiral looking pattern. Always working my back loops. So if I'm working this way, this is what you're looking at when you work from the wrong side. So you would be crocheting from this side to this side, but the loop you're going into is actually this back loop back here. Just that back loop. So not the top loop, just this bottom back loop. And I'm just going to keep going across. Nice and mundane and easy. Choopy, are you still here? If you are still here, where can we find your YouTube channel? I heard you mention you have a YouTube channel with tutorials. So I can go share the love and subscribe to your YouTube channel. I guess not. Okay, so if you count across and you happen to miss a stitch, just make sure, or if you count across and you have too many stitches, you would just do an extra decrease on the decrease side. Not enough stitches, you would just do an extra increase or put an extra stitch on the increase side. Ridiculously simple. You can fudge that. My husband's out doing something. Who knows? And I'm just going to keep going across. Then I'm going to go up my 22 rows. I'm going to do it a little bit faster so I can finish it and show you how we put it together. It seems to take me longer to do back loop stitches and front loop stitches than it takes me to do regular stitches, because then I have to pay attention to where I'm actually putting my hook. I guess I should put this down a little bit so you guys can watch me crochet, since that's what you're here for. So how was everybody else's weekend? Anybody do anything fun? Anybody doing anything fun today? My whole weekend so far has been crazy, so today is going to be a calm day. Hopefully. I know when I say we partied all weekend, that sounds like crazy, but like party all weekend means we just hung out with friends that showed up. Yeah, no alcohol, no recreational anything. We just kind of hang out. But you know, us older ladies here, that's enough of a party for me at this point. If I did any more than that, I probably wouldn't be functional for a couple of days. And again, I'm just going to chain one and turn and increase on my increase side. And every few rows I'll actually count. In a time crunch, finishing the blanket for a golf outing. Yeah, we do party without alcohol. It usually involves cake, ice cream, food, more food. I think that's just it. It's like a carbohydrate food coma for like 2 days afterwards. And I've done things like that. In a time crunch with finishing the blanket for a golf outing, in like next week. Yeah, I've done things like that. I hate being on a schedule. Although a little bit of schedule and a little bit of discipline does me well. So jumping on the mornings does me very well. It keeps me from, because I am one of these people, from just going, oh, I'm still so tired, I'm just going to roll back into bed. So, it ended up being white. Did not have strawberries. However, it did have white chocolate shavings all the way around it. This is what my mother brought for my birthday this weekend. It did have white chocolate shavings all around it, and it had cream cheese frosting. And then, of course, I have to go to the ice cream shop. So, you know, when we made our run, I had the ice cream's almost better than the cake. I bought a quart of Queen of Hearts, which is, it's coming along nicely. A quart of Queen of Hearts, which is dark chocolate ice cream with raspberry filled chocolate hearts. And then my other favorite that I bought was cannoli. Yes, they have cannoli ice cream, and it is freaking fabulous. It's like the best vanilla ice cream. My sister took a couple bites of it, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is like eating a stick of sweet butter." I'm like, yeah. And it is. It's the mascarpone flavored ice cream, and it has chunks of like waffle cone type stuff in it, like the stuff that you'd roll to fill your cannoli. So it has chunks of that in it, and then it has little chocolate chips throughout it, and oh my God, it's my two favorite ice creams. If I have to pick a chocolate, it's going to be Queen of Hearts. If I have to pick a vanilla, it's going to be cannoli. Oh, it is. It's so yummy. So that was my splurge for the week. That was my splurge for the week. But the week's not over yet, so I'm still splurging. Because I do believe there's still some ice cream left, unless my dad got to it, which is a very good possibility. Oh, it's so good. Just counting. Sunday, yesterday. And it was funny because my mother had mentioned that to my cousin, who we were born in the same year, and we hung out all the time. She's on my dad's side of the family, and my mother told her that it was my birthday, and she's so funny. She likes to chatter away. Thank you very much. She likes to chatter away just like I do. And as soon as my mother said that, she just kind of waved her hand. She's like, those numbers and days don't matter anymore. She's like, there's nothing to it. She's like, that's not how old I am. This is how old I am, and none of that matters anymore. She said, if you really need to hear it, happy birthday, but those things don't matter anymore. And I was like, yep, no offense. I agree. I'm as old as I feel. And that's that. Hello, Rebecca. Yep. We're working on spiral dish scrubbies, or face scrubbies, or whatever you want to call them. So far, this is what it looks like. We're doing 20 stitches by about 23 rows. We're working in our back loops only. Maybe a little bit older than that. Like somewhere around like 32, 33, even like 35. That was a good age. I'll take 35. I don't think I'd want 21 all over again. So it's basically just 20 stitches across and it's always 20 stitches across, always working in the back loops, and always increasing by one on one side and decreasing by one on the other side. Forever 39. Yeah, 40 got to me. I wasn't happy when I was 40. That kind of like was the like screech moment for me. So I'll take 35. 50, I just didn't even care. By that time, it was like, whatever. But again, just increasing on one side, decreasing on the other side, and I still have, you stop counting. Yeah, I'm not counting anymore. If I don't feel any different, then there's no reason to count. Just still going across. I think I'm losing my last stitches. My star black. Oh, I hate having to rip things out. Like, I rip things out all the time for no reason at all. I just rip things out. But to like rip things out because I made a stupid mistake, it just like makes me cringe. Yeah, that's, I hate that. You're right, I haven't hit 50 yet. You are absolutely right. I'm going to look at it that way. I haven't even hit 50 yet. Although I will say my bones are telling me something totally different today. Yeah, I've done things like that where I thought, oh my god, if I want to list this, or oh my god, if I want to sell this, I have to fix it. And that's just a pain. But you're right, if I'm making it for myself or somebody in my family, I'm just gonna leave it and call it my soulscape. But if it's for somebody else, I'm the same way. I feel obligated to fix it. I don't know how many rows here I have. This is one of those trust the process, because yeah, it does end up looking like a spiral. It doesn't usually get bad. My hands, for some reason, knock on wood, my hands and my wrists don't really ever bother me, in spite of the fact that I do all this. But my hips and my knees, not always my knees, but my hips, even though they're replaced, you still get like that arthritic feeling in them sometimes. Not that they hurt, but they ache. Oh yeah. I'm always pulling hairs off me and crocheting hairs into things and having to take out a couple stitches because they don't pull out. I am using, you don't like Arthur at all? I'm not sure who Arthur is. I'm using a 6mm. Sometimes it'll show me. There it is. Oh, come on. 6mm. When I work with the cotton, I like to make it loose because it will kind of shrink up in the dryer. Arthur, oh, I get it now. Okay. Yeah, I don't like Arthur either. Arthur either. And I'm not sure how many of these I get out of a bolt of cotton, but I can buy like is it peaches and cream, sugars and cream? I don't remember what it's called. But I can buy a whole bolt of it and get quite a few of these. Right now I think I'm just using, I think it's, I love this cotton. But to be honest with you, I don't really know what I did. It's the same thing I used the hat. Made the hat. I know, and I'm just, you know, it's just a week. I'll wake up as the week goes on. Love your dad's paintings. Oh, thank you so much. I'm working on it. My cousin coming over yesterday kind of threw a wrench in my plans to get a chunk of them on there. I mean, he has hundreds of them over here now because he's starting to bring things up for, so far. So he's starting to bring things up for the market that we'll do in August. So he has to start bringing things up a little bit at a time now. So he's got a bunch of it over there, and I wanted to get, I'm hoping by the end of today I get maybe 20 or 25 pieces up. That would be nice. Because I know he'll leave them up here, and I had to actually order shipping boxes. So I had told my mom, I said, you know, he's taking a loss for the first couple of paintings that he sells because he has to pay for these shipping supplies. Oh my God, boxes to ship paintings are not cheap. Like the ones that are just watercolor paper, I can roll and put in a tube, and the tubes are free from the post office. But to actually order a box that I have to put a mounted piece of canvas in, they're like $6 a piece, $5 a piece. So I did order boxes, which is why if any of you guys go to my site, it says that they're available to order, but I can't ship them until the 6th, because the 6th is when I'm expecting to get my boxes in. So they'll be up there, they'll be available to order. I just can't ship them until I get boxes to ship them in. Alrighty, let's see how many rows I have done. But you're yeah, even buying them in boxes are expensive, even buying them in bulk. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Oh, I have 18. I'm getting there. That's your daughter's birthday. June 6th. Hey, Cindy. I'm sorry, I have to pause this for 2 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. Again, work and mom, I have to answer the phone. If it's work, I have to pause. If it's mom, you guys can listen to me chatter. I'm getting there. I'm almost. Cindy, if you're jumping in, we are making spiral dish scrubbies, spiral washcloths, whatever you want to call them. And it's basically, it's an older pattern, but it's very simple and it looks very complicated. So like looks impressive, but it's really simple. It is chain 20, or basically however many you want to chain. I use the 20, and working in the back loops only. I'll show you here after I'm done with this row. Working in the back loops only. You're constantly doing 20 stitches, but on one side you're always decreasing. So on one side you're always decreasing, and on the other side you're always increasing. So this is where your row is. And working through your back loops only. On this side you're always going to increase, on this side you're always going to decrease. I have 20 stitches across, and I'm going to do about 23 stitches, 23 rows up. And then putting it together is the magic, actually, which makes it look like it was really complicated, but it's not. So I have a few more rows to go here. But you will always have 20 stitches because you're always going to decrease on one side, you're always going to increase on the other side to make up for that stitch. You're always working in the back loops because that's going to make the texture. You can see the texture in it. And I'm almost there. I just had a few more rows to do. How was your weekend, Cindy? How's your day? Today is actually the holiday for us. But I think today is going to be just a simple, no complaints. I agree. I think today is just going to be a simple, here's a hot dog, throw it over the fire type day, because my dad will go out and build a fire in the morning. My birthday was good, thank you. My sister came up and we all hung out Saturday, and then as a surprise, one of my cousins called. She was camping not too far away with friends of hers, and she says, "You're not that far from where I am, are you?" I said, "Not at all." She's like, "I'm up here all the time. There's no excuse. I'm going to stop and see you." And my mom was up too, which is perfect because that's my dad's niece. And so she stopped over and we hung out yesterday. It was very nice to see her. I do miss her. She was born the same year I was, and we always kind of hung out together. So it was nice to see her. So that's what we did this weekend so far. So as far as I'm concerned, the weekend's over and today needs to be calm. 20, 21. I'm going to do a couple more and then see if I can remember how I put this together. That's how I put it together. Yeah, I definitely want to do a couple more. 2 more rows and then I'm going to put it together. So it was good. A successful birthday. Look, if I wake up and I'm alive and I'm here and I'm on this side of the ground, it's a successful birthday. If I'm still walking around, it's a successful birthday. If I still know who I am, it's a successful birthday. Oh, Lori, thanks. Actually just working on spiral washcloths. It is an old pattern. You can find the pattern anywhere. But it was a simple tutorial and that's what I needed today. So it's basically 20 stitches across. It's all single crochet and it's all worked in the back loop only, so you get some texture to it. And on every row you increase on your increase side and you decrease on your decrease side, so it kind of gives you this shape. And then I'm going to do one more row and then we're going to stitch them together. So again, if this is my decrease row, if this is my decrease side, I'm always going to decrease and then count over my, I'm always going to have 20 stitches, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am always working just in the back loops. 6, 7, 8. Next one we're going to put it together. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Did I miscount one there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 more in the last one. So you end up with like this big, that's what it looks like. So this is straight across. This is the side that I decreased on. This is the side that I increased on. You can, but you don't have to crochet along the sides. I'm not going to, but I am going to show you how I put this together. So I'm going to get my 2 little birds and my drawing board here. Oops, pulled out my stitches. I should flip it over so the birds don't get in the way. Okay, so to put this together, I am going to, so this is the bottom of my board. I'm going to bring this piece up this way and this piece up this way. So I just folded, as I'm holding it this way, I take one of the outer points. So this would be like an inner point, and this would be the like long outer point. I take that first outer point to the inner point, and I take the second outer point to the inner point. And an easy way to do this is, once I have it like this, I can pinch this seam here. So I'm just kind of pinching the seam where I have them seamed together, where that diagonal comes together. And I'm just going to slip stitch across those, across that seam. And you can work in back loops, front loops, whatever you want. Chain my 1, whoops, this way, whoops, this way, and you can kind of guesstimate. I mean, you can count if you really want to die hard count those stitches, but I'm just kind of going to guess them. So I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I'm just going to go through where I folded them together. And I'm just going to go through the back loops. And I'm just going to slip stitch down them because that makes it easier. So I have them pulled up. So I folded them together. I folded them together, and that's my seam, but you want to keep it open. So you're just going to stitch that seam where you folded them together, and you're going to leave this whole part here in the inside open. And I'm just going to slip stitch all the way down there. So it's kind of going to look like this as you're stitching it together. But once it's all stitched together, it's just going to look like that tube there. So I'm just going to keep going down and slip stitching my seam shut. And I should have 20 stitches because everything has been 20 stitches. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I know I just saw a hair. So you can see I'm just stitching it up. It's still open in the center, and I'm just stitching up that seam here with a slip stitch. I do actually love these. They make like the perfect face cloths. And after I get this stitched up, I will show you. I am going to chain 2 to knot this. But I'm going to leave a rather large tail. So I'm going to leave, not that I need 2 feet, but I'm going to leave about 2 feet just so I have enough to sew. And again, I don't know what I did. Oh, here's my scissors. So I'm going to leave about a 2-foot long tail to sew. But still, I chained my 2 to tie my knot, and I'm just going to pull it through, and I'm going to pull my knot down, and basically you want to see a square. So this is where I did my row of slip stitches to put it together. I did 23 rows. Now this is how you can tell, because if you want to make it bigger, you can start with a longer chain. If you want to make it bigger, you can start with a longer chain. And then to measure whether or not you're getting, like for a nice round spiral, you would just kind of fold it and make sure that it looks square. So no matter how many chains you start with, you just keep going and adding rows until when you fold it, it looks square. That's the magic to this. So I did 20 stitches by 23 rows or so just to make it quick. But if I wanted to do 30 stitches, I could do 30 stitches, but it's always the same way. It's always increase on one side, decrease on the other side. So you always have those 30 stitches, but your piece slants. And then as long as when you fold it up, so, and you can fold it up, you know, incrementally just to kind of see what it looks like. As long as it comes out to be a square, you're going to get a circle, if that makes sense. As long as it comes out to be a square, you're going to get a circle. Okay, and we're going to make this part really, really simple. You can, if you want, once you stitch this up, you can go around the outside with another row of single crochet to finish off the edge, but you don't need to. because we're just going to cinch it up. So I'm going to thread my needle, and wherever I ended up with, and these parts don't have to be exactly perfect either. If they're not, they're not. It's no big deal if they don't end up perfect, or if you end up with a spot that's not exactly perfect. But you're going to take your open side. I'll be right back. Alrighty, sorry about that, guys. Again, mom and work, I have to answer. Work, I have to pause. Mom, I sit and chatter. Okay, so I have my spirals so far, and I have my tail, and I am just simply going to whip stitch into the side of each single row, picking up one or two threads. If you pick up one thread, it will be easier. So I will pick up one thread on the side of each row. Just one thread on the side of each row. And I know I have 23, but I'm going to go all the way until I get back around to where my knot is. And I'm, again, just going to pick up one stitch on each row, because the side of each row, because it'll be easier to cinch it together. I'll get a tighter cinch. And I will just work all the way around. Ignore. I only have 5 more minutes. Okay, so I'm still working around. And you can cinch this as you go if you want. But you don't have to. Because if you make sure that you don't split if you make sure you don't split it and you get your needle right in there, you'll be able to cinch it real easy. And you can actually pick up one stitch and then the next stitch and then the next stitch and just kind of keep going. I'm almost there. Where's my knot? Oh, I'm about halfway there. So again, I'm just going all the way around with my just kind of going into one stitch on the side at a time, one loop from one stitch on the side at a time. And I'm almost at the end. You can do depending on how you like it cinched up, you can do a loop from every stitch, from the side of every row, or you can do from the side of every other row, depending on how you like it cinched. So now I'm back to the knot where I started. So I've gone all the way around, just kind of doing that whip stitch. And then when I pull it shut, it will pull shut. And you can pull it pretty tight because you want it to cinch up pretty tight. So you're going to pull that one shut. I like to tie a knot. So I'm just gonna, and actually to tie your knot, you can just take your smaller hook and put it underneath any stitch there to tie it off once you've cinched it tight. And you can just do the same chain 2. Pull it through, pull your knot down, and make your knot. Rethread your needle, because now we're going to go right to the other side. We're not going to cut it, we're just going to go right to the other side. So that's where we cinched it, that's where we knotted it, that's the little bit of a hole in the center there. I'm going to go down through that hole in the center and up through. Did I just, oh no, see? Oh, I sure did. Did that. I wrapped it instead of just going straight down. Okay. So you want to make sure you take your, where you have your hole where you cinched it, you're going to go right back into that hole where you cinched it, and then you're going to pull this string straight up through. And you can pull it pretty tight because you're just going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to pick a point and you can tuck your end right into it. You don't have to worry about weaving in your end. So I'm going to pick the same point where I started with my slip stitches, and I'm going to do the same thing. I am just simply going to whip stitch around this whole thing. Whoops, that was my tail that I want tucked in. But I'm just simply going to whip stitch around this whole thing. If your yarn gets twisted, you can just kind of let your needle untwist itself. But again, I'm just going through one loop, and just working all the way around. Again, if you make sure you don't split your yarn, it'll cinch up the way it's supposed to. And I'm just working my way around to where I started. That's why why I started at the slip stitch, because then that can be my guide point. But you can really start anywhere on the round. It doesn't really matter when you get to the second part here. Doesn't matter if you skip a row here or there. I mean, it's not exact science, but it does cinch up and looks nice. It does cinch up and look like it is. Again, you could make like big scrubbies like this, as long as when you fold it in half, as long as when you fold it up, you have a square. Okay, so I've gone all the way around to the beginning. Now, we have it from where we pulled it through at the bottom, and this is going to be part of what cinches up. So I'm going to start pulling, and it's going to start cinching. And not only am I going to cinch it up so that it all cinches around the top part of this, but I'm going to pull it so that this bottom thread here pulls to the top thread here. So when I pull it, the top's going to cinch, and when I keep pulling it, the bottom's going to cinch in to hold this center part together. So this center part is together. I don't know how a good way to show that. So you've got your spiral. This center part here is attached to this center part here, so it's not going to come apart. And then these are like poofy on the sides. Like, they're not attached on the sides, but they are attached through the centers. And then you would just then tie another knot. So pick another spot like on the opposite side somewhere and gather up a stitch or two, and you can just tie your knot. Which, if you don't want to chain two, you can have your loop, insert your needle, pull that first loop down tight. You have another loop, insert your needle, and you can pull that other loop down tight. Hey there, Tyler. So now I've tied my knot, and if I want to make sure it's extra tight, I can just weave it through to the other side and tie another knot on the other side if I want, which I will, because why not? Again, I'm just going to pick up a couple of stitches. And this is basically your chain two without using a hook. So if you can see, that's like I chained one, but I pulled that first loop tight, pull that second loop tight, and then I'm going to weave in my ends. And the weaving in the ends for this is actually pretty simple, because you can just go around the sides. You can go down one of the spirals. And I do go down one of the spirals. And then I go kind of back up one of the spirals just a little bit. And then you can cut it a little bit shorter. I'm going to move my needle down here. I'm going to move my needle down. I'm going to cut my string a little bit shorter. And you can just take your string and tuck it into where the poof pulls apart on the sides. So that string is on the inside. And once my string's on my inside, I have the string on, probably about that much of the string on the inside after my knot, and I wove them. I'm just going to snip it off. Actually, if you pull it tighter and then snip it off, when you can't even see it. If you pull it tighter and then snip it off, when you stretch it back out, it's disappears into it. So, ridiculously simple. Like, you look at them and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, that's so neat. How did they do that? That's it. Ridiculously simple. And it does make a spiral, and it's like, they're neat. So I actually needed a few more of these because they tend to disappear. But it's like the perfect size for like a face cloth or a dish scrubby, or, well, you're glad you stopped by. Oh, thank you very much. So that's that. I don't know, maybe later on this week we'll make a little mesh bag to put them in. Tomorrow I'll maybe make, I know one of the other ladies was making her simple and clean dishcloths. It's pretty much the same stitch that I use. Maybe tomorrow I'll just make that dishcloth, and then maybe by the end of the week we'll just make a little mesh bag that we can throw all of our cotton cloths into to wash them, so that they all stay together like a laundry bag. Tyler, I'm sure you do need to go to bed now. I appreciate you jumping on, but I totally understand how late it is for you, so. And I'm done anyway. So thank you for everybody's joining, and that is how you made that super simple spiral scrubby. Thank you for everybody that jumped in and crocheted with me and hung out with me. And Lori, you have a good day as well. And yeah, you can see I still have quite a bit of yarn done. I could probably get 2 more from this, and I already used, this is what I used to make my hat with. So I've already made a hat out of it. I've made a scrubby out of it. I think it was I Love This Cotton, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's one of my favorite simple patterns to do. So I hope you guys have a great day as well. I am going to spend the rest of my day trying to get some of my dad's art up on my website. Hopefully I'm a little bit more successful than I was yesterday. Bye, Tyler. And take care, Samantha. I don't know if I'll be back on tonight. I don't know. Mom's here till tomorrow morning, so my nights may have to wait until tomorrow night. In the meantime, thank you guys for joining me, and if you head over to NiftyKnotz by later on this afternoon, this video should be up there. Might cost you to subscribe here. It doesn't cost you to subscribe there. I know, my speech. My husband's home. I have to make it. I love him. So yeah, everybody have a good rest of your day, rest of your evening, and enjoy it. And I will see you guys at the very least tomorrow for something different.